Hello, hi, a very happy good evening. So this is Krishnaveni and we've been talking about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. Yes, welcome to my lecture. So this is lecture 3 of your body fluids and circulation. So we're going to talk about the cardiac cycle today. So we're done talking about the structure of the heart. So today we're going to talk about the cardiac cycle. How does the heart actually function? So what do you call as the cardiac output? So we're going to discuss all that. Come on, please quickly do like, share and subscribe. So let your friends know here ma'am is teaching the entire biology, both your botany, zoology, your class 11 as well as your class 12. Quick, so please do like, share and subscribe. And for all those who are watching my lecture, so thank you so much. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Okay, so yes, so we have the new announcement that your NEET exam date has been out. So your NEET exam dates, that your NEET exam will be conducted on 12th of September. So that was the latest and the hottest news that was running in town. And from today, that is on 14th, so that this evening, so you from 5 p.m. you your application portal opens, so you have to fill in your application. So yes, it opens from today at 5 p.m. so please don't hurry, because yes, there will be server clashes. Yes, a lot of people, lakhs and lakhs of people will move forward to fill up the forms. Yes, I know everyone is eager and everyone is in a hurry, everyone is in a fear to fill up the form, but do it slowly, don't make any mistake. So please don't panic, and that is my sincere advice. And when you do the form filling, so please do it carefully. So type your name properly, don't do any spelling mistakes. So cross check more than once whether you have filled in all the details carefully and properly. So do that. And yes, at 5 p.m. the portal opens, so everyone will hurry. So don't worry if you're not able to fill the form today, you still have time. So gradually keep checking so that you will get a slot when you can fill your form. Okay, so please don't panic, so please don't get tense, so please don't get nervous. So nothing is gonna happen. So this is my first advice. My second advice, so exactly you have 2 months for your NEET exam. Please do not fall sick. So please stay safe. So please take care of your health. So there's nothing like your own health. So now that we are fine, we don't know how it feels when we fall sick. So please be health cautious for the next 2 months. So please align your diet, what kind of food you eat. So if you're a person who prefers a lot of junk food and a lot of outside food, so please reduce that, so you do not know what comes when. So please don't give any chances that you fall sick, because that is very important. So stay healthy. Even if you fall sick, it takes time to recover, so your body needs a lot of energy for which you need to rest, but now we do not have any time to rest. So please take care of your health. So that is my first and my foremost request. So other things will fall in place once you're healthy, you're active, but please take care of your health, because no one is going to stand in your place if you fall sick. So if you're not well, I cannot go write your exam. If you lose mark because your brain is not working, if you're tired, if you're not active enough, no one is going to give you marks. So this will show your year of hard work. So from November we have been traveling together, so I know yes, you guys did a lot of hard work. So please don't give any opportunity that it can fail. Alright, so this is my humble advice. So yes, and the portal is opening at 5 p.m. everyone will rush, so it's okay, relax. There will be clash, the portal will not open, the server will not open. Don't panic. So imagine lakhs of people opening the same web page at the same time. Yes, of course it can happen, right? So relax, so keep trying. So yes, if not tonight, so at least tomorrow morning you'll be able to fill in. Okay, yes, so with that, these are the advice that I want to give you. Yes, ASM, hello, hi, a very happy good evening. Thank you for joining my lecture today. So please do like, share and subscribe. Hi Anthony Abhi, yes, a very happy good evening. Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Yes, now that your NEET exam dates have come, so students are panicking. Ma'am, will I be able to finish the syllabus if I start now? Why this doubt? Why this doubt again and again? So I have already told you, right? Yes, the exam is gonna come, the exam is gonna come. So you have to make up your mind. Yes, you're gonna prepare from here, you're gonna start from here. So please don't panic, and that's not gonna help you. And revise, read NCERT, so that will help you a lot. Alright? Okay. There were also questions like, ma'am, should we start a crash course, etc. So it depends upon how your level is. So if you're a student who's done revising, go for crash course. If you're a student who feels yes, your concept is not strong, so it's my humblest advice, please get the concepts clarified. So these are some of the things. So please plan your strategy. So yes, biology, this is my strong point, this is my weak point. So physics, yes, this is my strong point, this is my weak point. So if a question comes from body fluids and circulation, if this is your strong point, even if 5 questions come, whatever a level of difficulty it is, you should be able to attend. So that is how you fix your weakness and you fix your strength. So please classify them for you, for the betterment of you. So I have a lecture tomorrow. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. which says effective strategies to prepare for NEET. So I will give you some tips as to how you can start your preparation for NEET, and there is no point panicking. There is no point like you have to study. The more you fret over, the more quickly your energy erodes. So please stay strong. Yes, Naveen, hello and welcome to my class. So please do like, share and subscribe. So Naveen, I'm really sorry, I was so occupied since morning. I'll get back to your doubt after the class. All right, yes. So 35 days strategy you have put. Yes, that's good. So please make up your own timetable. That is important. Yes, from my side, I will give you the best. So I will give the best efforts that I can. So I will make sure I will always stay in touch till your exam. I will give you some tips. I'll give you some techniques. So don't worry. Okay, so don't panic. So that is what I want to say. So welcome to my lecture. So today we are going to talk about your cardiac cycle. Okay. Once again, we are meeting at 6 p.m. So we are discussing the important questions. So I look tired. No, I don't look tired, but I came in the hot sun. So it's actually very, very hot in Kota. So that's why I walked in from the sun into an air-conditioned room. So that is why it looks like this. So that is this transition. All right. Yes. So today we'll discuss important questions at 6 p.m. Yes, I am planning some different type of classes for you, like one-shot series. So be it anything, but give me 2 days time so that I come up with an effective plan for the YouTube students as well. But as of now, I don't want to stop whatever I'm doing. So I will go with the flow. Yes, I will bring a new session because yes, all of you are looking forward for some good classes for NEET. Yes, I will talk about it. So I will come up with something new because syllabus wrap up will not end before your exam, right? But yes, give me 2 days time to sort out how I can go about in YouTube because I have other classes as well. So as of now, we are going according to the flow. So let's finish off body fluids and circulation, right? Yes, Muna, hello, hi, a very, very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. Yes, I am good. How are you? So please do like, share and subscribe. Where is Shimpi? Okay, so this is the introduction. Yes, it is now the perfect time to announce this. So we are starting a crash course for all those who are willing to take up your exam in the year 2021, that is on September 12th. So exactly 2 months from now, how are you going to feel? So that depends on how you write the exam, right? So last night when I went to bed, I was like, after 2 months exactly from this time, so my students will be like, they would have cleared NEET. So what will be your state of mind exactly 2 months after? Yes, after your paper, so we will have paper discussion. So I will give you the right answer. So you will know how many questions you went wrong. So how many students fall down, how many students are expecting good score. So all that happens, right? So we are going to have a mixed turbulence, you can say. So yes, relax. So the more planned you go, the more perfect the journey ends. Okay, so don't worry. So for all those who are looking for some last minute revision, not last minute portions coverage, so that is not possible. So those who are looking for last minute syllabus completion or last minute revision, please join my crash course. So we are starting it from day after tomorrow, that is from 15th July, and still they have kept the offer price as 1,999 because it is a lot of benefit now. So they haven't changed the offer price. So it will be completely in English. So you have all the 3 subjects. So you have P, C and B. So please feel free to join. So I am handling biology and I promise biology will be worth the go. Okay, so please let your friends know. Yes, your friends may not attend my class, but you can put forward them a message. You can say a crash course is going on because now that you have been under me, so you know how I teach. So recommend your friends, your cousins, your juniors, etc. That is one thing you can do. Okay. Yes, all right. Okay, Anthony B. Okay. Oh, that's very bad, Shrimpy. Yes, Dharani, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So here we go to lecture 3. So body fluids and circulation. So there's also one thing. Now if I start one short series, you'll come for 1 week and then your energy goes down. So please don't let the spirit go down. So all those who have joined my crash course, who have already enrolled, yes, each day is challenging for all of us. It's challenging for me to finish a chapter as well. So sometimes you might feel bored in between. Please don't lose the spirit. The moment you lose the spirit, then everything ends. Okay, so the fire has to keep burning. Only when the fire keeps burning, you feel warm, right? So if it stops in between, everything turns dark. So please keep the fire in you burning, and please have an option B and option C as well. Okay, so here we go, body fluids and circulation. So we were talking about blood, so we spoke about lymph. We also spoke about the circulatory pathways, that is open and closed pathway. So we entered into the structure of heart today. So in the last lecture, that is double circulation. So then we talk about regulation of cardiac activity and disorders of your circulatory system. Alright, so a quick recap about the structure of your heart. Hi Shimpi, yes, hello, very happy good evening. Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you? So please do like, share and subscribe. Oh, Munna is saying Agya Maharani. Okay, fine. So here we go. So how is the structure of the heart? Yes, how is the structure of the heart? So we have 4 chambers, right? So we are discussing the human heart here. So human heart has 4 chambers. So what are the 4 chambers? So we have 2 ventricles and we have 2 auricles, right? So atria is single, atrium is single, atria is plural. Okay, yes. पता है मैम, मैं इसका फोन में कोई दिक्कत देखती हूँ. Oh, so Shimpi is being the bullying elder sister. Okay, all right. So we have a right atrium. So we go in this order. So we have right atrium. We have left atrium. So we have right ventricle and we have left ventricle. So these are the 4 chambers of your heart, right? So in between the 2 ventricles, you have a septum. So this is your interatrial septum. And this is pretty thin. So between 2 ventricles, you have a septum which is very thick. And this is known as interventricular septum. So septum is a division or a wall. And this is thick. Okay, yes, fine. So in between the atria and the ventricle, so you have a septum. So this is known as atrioventricular septum. Okay, so this is the design. Fine. So your heart is surrounded by a membrane which is known as pericardium. Heart is surrounded by a membrane which is known as pericardium, and it is filled with a fluid known as pericardial fluid. So where is your pleural fluid present? That is present between your lungs, right? Okay. Yes, Sandhya Mohan. Hello, hi. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. All right. So Shimpi is Munna is a liar. Okay, fine. So is this clear? So this is how it is. So you have valves to prevent the backward flow. So we have a valve here. So the valve that is present here is called as your tricuspid valve. Right? And the valve that you have on this side is your bicuspid valve or your mitral valve. Yes? So these are the 2 valves. So here you have a valve. So this is your semilunar valve. So now what is the direction of flow inside your heart? So blood flows into the right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. So from here it goes into the pulmonary artery. So from the pulmonary artery it goes into the lungs. So here it is deoxygenated blood. Yes, it goes into the lungs, and from the lungs it is carried by your pulmonary vein. Yes, and now it goes back into your left atrium. Okay, and from the left ventricle it goes into the aorta. So what brings blood into the right atrium? So this is your vena cava. So it is your superior or inferior vena cava. Okay, so superior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from the upper portion of the body, that is from your head and neck respectively, and inferior vena cava brings your blood from the lower parts of the body, and they put it inside the right atrium. So this is the design of your heart. Clear? Yes? Okay. So now it is not that first your right ventricle work and then your left ventricle will work. So both of them will work simultaneously. So blood from the vena cava pours into the right atrium and blood from the pulmonary vein flows into the left atrium, and simultaneously the blood moves into the ventricle and as well as out of the ventricle. So both the regions of the heart, the right and the left, they work simultaneously. Alright? Yes? So I hope this structure is clear. Know that? Okay. So now how does this start? Who initiates this process? Yes, so the valves open and then the blood flows in, everything is fine. So who initiates this process? So that is what we are going to talk about. So the next one is your cardiac cycle. So this is the structure of your heart. Okay, ma'am, how blood is formed? Naturally they are formed. Okay, so blood is formed in your bone marrow. So you have stem cells which are known as hematopoietic stem cells, so which forms your blood. Okay, so which forms your erythrocytes, your lymphocytes and your platelets. Alright Dharani? Yes? Who disliked twice? Okay, so the dislike was there even before I started the class. So pata nahi, even before the class started I had 1 like and I had 2 dislike. I don't know who's so hungry on me, or maybe they don't like my lecture so much that they instantly dislike. That's still fine. Okay, fine. Hi Dinesh, yes, hello. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So this much is clear. So now let's talk about how it functions. So this is the design. Now we'll talk about how it functions. Okay. So you have a small node of tissue. You have a small patch of tissue on your right atrium towards the left side here. Okay, so since this is present here, this is known as sinoatrial tissue. Okay, so this is known as your SA node. So this patch is known as your SA node, sinoatricular node. So this is a small patch of tissue. Okay, so this is auto-excitable. So this excites automatically. Okay, so this, when this excites, so it passes the signal down. Okay, so here you have an AV node. So this is the first tissue, this is the second tissue. So it passes the impulse down to your AV node. The second one is your AV node. This is your atrioventricular node. Okay, and then the impulse spreads throughout the ventricle. Okay, through Purkinje fibers, which further moves into the ventricles by bundle of His. So first from the SA node, the impulse moves to the AV node. Okay, then on this interventricular septum, I have what is known as Purkinje fibers. So they are small fibers which conducts the action potential. Then they spread through the true ventricles with the help of bundle of His. Okay, so now these four things are clear. Yes, so you understood what is SA node, AV node, Purkinje fibers, bundle of His. Yes, they are all here, which helps in the transmission of impulse, and the action potential or the impulse starts from your SA node. Since this is auto-excitable, this can excite on its own and it can initiate an action potential on its own. So this is known as the pacemaker of the heart. So this ensures that you have the blood flow into the ventricles and then into the atria. This ensures that blood flows into the atrium and then into the ventricles. Alright, yes. Yes, so tomorrow we have a lecture for the same. So effective strategies to prepare for NEET. So there I will tell you. Okay, Dharani? Yes. Fine. So your SA node is the natural pacemaker because it initiates action potential on its own and then it spreads through the heart. So now moving further, so you have to remember two more terms. So when you talk about how the heart functions, so you have to remember two terms, which is your diastole and which is your systole. Okay, so diastole is the state of rest. So systole is the state of contraction. Okay, yes. Please explain Purkinje fibers and bundle of His. So we have our SA node. So this initiates your action potential. Then it passes on to the AV node. So AV node is in between your atria and the ventricle. Then the impulse spreads through the interventricular wall. So here you have Purkinje fibers and then it opens into bundle of His. So from Purkinje fibers it moves towards the bundle of His so that it moves into the ventricles. Okay. So that is how the impulse passes. Okay, Antonia B? Done? Okay. So now I move forward. So you need to remember two terms. One is diastole and one is systole. So diastole is a state of rest and systole is a state of contraction. Okay. So how is the structure of our heart? So we have atria. So we have right ventricle. So we have left atria. So we have left ventricle. So this is the structure of our heart. Right? Yes. So here you have your mitral valve. So here I have my tricuspid valve. So here I have my semilunar valve. So the flow, the direction of flow is like this. So it moves into the pulmonary artery. So from here it moves into the lungs. Then pulmonary veins. So pulmonary veins comes here. So this moves into the aorta. So this carries blood from our superior or inferior vena cava. Right? Okay. So initially all the four chambers of heart are at a state of rest. All the four chambers are in a state of rest. Okay, so which is known as combined diastole. All the four chambers are at rest. Okay, then slowly you have your SA node which initiates an action potential. So when your SA node initiates an action potential, your atria begins to contract. Okay, so you have atrial systole. Fine? Yes, Satyendra, hello. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, it is known as combined or joint diastole. When all the 4 chambers of your heart are in a state of rest, it is known as joint diastole. Okay, then your SA node will initiate an action potential. So once it initiates an action potential, blood flows into your atria. So when this initiates action potential, blood flows inside your right atria and your left atria simultaneously. Okay, so more and more blood enters, then it contracts more, right? So the more amount of blood that enters the atria, the pressure increases, so it contracts maximum. So that is known as atrial systole, when your atria contracts. Okay, at the end of atrial systole, the valves open and the blood flows into the ventricles. Once the blood reaches the ventricles from the atria relaxes. So now you have atrial diastole. So now the atria relaxes. Okay, yes, now the blood is inside the ventricle, right? So the action potential has passed from the SA node to AV node, Purkinje fibers and bundle of His, right? So that is how the action potential has passed. So now your ventricles are carrying blood. So more and more blood enters the ventricles from the atria. The pressure inside the ventricle also becomes very high. Now when the ventricle can no longer hold the blood, the semilunar valves open. Okay, so this is your ventricular systole. So your semilunar valves open and your blood from the ventricle moves out. Now your ventricle comes again to a state of rest. Now it is joint diastole once again. So now did you understand these 4 steps? So initially all the 4 chambers are at rest. Then your atria contracts, then it takes rest. Now your ventricle contracts and now everything takes rest once again. So this is how your heart functions. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, any doubt? Yes? Any doubt? Clear? Shimpi, Munna? This is clear? No doubt? Okay, fine. So this is how it happens. So this is known as your cardiac cycle. So this happens in a cycle. So this is your cardiac cycle. So you have 2 sounds in your cardiac cycle. What are the 2 sounds? Okay, so till this we saw. Okay, so now let's go forward. Okay, so first you have joint diastole. Then you have atrial systole. Yes, the atria contracts. Ventricular diastole is the last step. Yes, so ventricular diastole is the last step. Yes, you're right. Okay. Yes, so then your atria contracts maximum. So now the valves open, it enters into the ventricle. Now your ventricle contracts maximum. So now it moves out, blood moves out of your ventricle. So this is your ventricular diastole. So this is your cardiac cycle. So the sequential event in the heart is cyclically repeated. So this is your cardiac cycle. So this consists of systole and diastole of both the atria and the ventricles. So the heart beats 72 times per minute. Okay, so the duration of each cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. So all this you have to remember. So each cardiac cycle duration is 0.8 seconds and your heart beats 72 times per minute. So each ventricle pumps approximately 70 ml of blood. So this is your stroke volume. Okay, yes. So we have a formula. The amount of blood pumped by a ventricle is known as the stroke volume. So stroke volume into heart rate gives you the cardiac output. right? So Saket, yes, hello, hi. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Ma'am, is this enough for NEET? No, definitely not. So you have to read your NCERT, you have to solve questions, only then it will be complete. Okay, Saket? Yes? Fine. So here, whatever I am speaking, so let's solve it here so that you understand. So your heartbeat is 72 times per minute, right? So the duration of your cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds, right? So you have what is known as stroke volume. So stroke volume is the volume pumped by each ventricle. So this is on an average is 70 ml. So we have a formula which says stroke volume into heartbeat is equal to the cardiac output. So we know stroke volume is 70 ml. Yes. So we know the heartbeat is 72. So what is the cardiac output? So 70 into 72, so almost it is 5 liters, right? So you write it as 5000 ml or 5 liters. So this is your cardiac output. So this is how you solve. Alright, yes, Antonia B, you're right. Yes, ma'am, a very, very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay. So this is your cardiac output. I hope you don't have any doubts till this. Okay. So this is what I have solved. So you have two sounds. One is lub, the other one is dub, right? So first you have your opening of your tricuspid valve and then it closes, right? So you have two sounds during your cardiac cycle. One is lub, the other one is dub. So you hear this lub sound when your tricuspid and your bicuspid valve closes. You hear this dub sound when your semilunar valves close. So with the help of a stethoscope, a doctor listens to these two sounds. So if these two sounds are in proper order, so which means your cardiac cycle is proper, your heart is functioning properly. So that is the understanding behind it. So your lub is the closing of your tricuspid and your bicuspid valves. Okay, and your dub is the closure of your semilunar valves. So these are the two sounds which I want you to remember. All right. Okay, so fine. So now we move further. So I hope this is clear. So now what is ECG? So ECG is your electrocardiogram. So if your heart is functioning properly or not, so we cannot only decide with lub and dub. We also have to check the timing of how much time your diastole takes and how much duration your systole takes. Okay, so all these also matters. So if I want to see what is your cardiac cycle and how your cardiac cycle functions, we do ECG. So ECG is electrocardiography. So this is the technique, electrocardiography. So the result is obtained in the form of a graph which is known as electrocardiogram. So this is your graph. Okay, yes, lub is one sound, dub is one sound. Yes, Satyendra, right? Okay, so I want to see how it is happening. So the person is subjected to electrocardiogram. So you have an electrode which they connect to both your ventricles and they measure the duration. All right, so you get a graph like this. So this is called as the P peak. You have QRS and you have T. So this is how your standard ECG should be like. Ma'am, in many questions they are asking the beginning of atrial systole like that, ma'am. Okay, so what is the whole question? What is the whole question? So is it related to ECG? So ECG, yes, we are discussing right now. Okay, so this is how your standard ECG looks like. So look at this graph. Okay, so electrocardiograph is the graphical representation of your electrical segment of the heart during cardiac cycle. So we have three waves: P wave, QRS and a T wave. Okay, so we are going to talk about what does a P wave signify. So P wave represents electrical excitation or depolarization of the atria, that is contraction of the atria. So P wave represents atrial systole. Okay, so when I say depolarization, so it changes the state of your atria, that is, it is getting contracted. So this is depolarization or contraction of your atria. Right? Clear? Yes, Avinash, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, I remember. So P wave stands for atrial systole. It is the beginning of atrial systole. Okay, so the next is your QRS complex. It is the contraction of your ventricle. So it is very simple: contraction of atria, contraction of ventricle, resting of ventricles. So here we do not have atrial diastole. Okay, so here your atria contracts, here your ventricle contracts. So this here you have the beginning of atrial systole. So it starts from here and it ends here. Okay, then it goes to a transition period because the excitation impulse is passing to your ventricles. Okay, and then you have contraction of ventricles. So when the contraction of ventricles is maximum, then your semilunar valves open. Yes, this is beginning of ventricular. This is beginning of atrial systole. This is beginning of ventricular systole. Okay, yes, Antonia B, you're right. So this is your depolarization of your ventricles. So which is nothing but ventricular systole. So now what is the last wave? The return of the ventricles from the excited to the normal state. So these two are depolarized state and this is repolarized state. So this is ventricular diastole. Clear? Yes. So this is your ECG. Suppose if a person who has an ECG which is like this, then it is wrong. He is having abnormal heartbeats because this QRS peak should be tall enough. Alright, so this is how we find the defect in a particular person. So this is clear. So everyone is clear about cardiac cycle and your cardiac output and also your ECG. Yes, things are clear. Can I move forward? Now we have double circulation. Yes, shall we move forward? Okay. So Naveen says clear. So Shimpi, how about you? So Dharni, are you watching? Okay, fine. So we go forward. So we talk about your double circulation. So what is double circulation? So our circulatory system is complete and it is closed, right? Because we have well developed blood vessels. So we have a good network of blood vessels which is made up of arteries and veins. So blood vessel is the one that carries blood. So that divides into two parts. One is arteries, one is vein. So always arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood. Okay. So all arteries, they carry, so I will write it here, we had a blank slide, right? So we have blood vessels. So there are two types, one is arteries and one is veins, right? So arteries branch into capillaries. So all arteries, okay, they carry only oxygenated blood. So we have one exception here, that is your pulmonary artery. Because pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from your right ventricle. So apart from this, all arteries carries your oxygenated blood undoubtedly. Fine. So now veins. So all veins carry your deoxygenated blood. So what is the exception here? Except your pulmonary vein, which carries oxygenated blood. Is this clear? Is this classification clear? Yes, Shubham sir, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining our lecture today. Hi Guha, yes, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So this category is clear? Yes? Okay. So now let's move forward. So you have three layers in your artery and in your vein. So what are the three layers? So you have an inner lining which is made up of squamous epithelium. This is tunica intima. So inner intima, okay? And you have a middle layer which is made up of smooth muscle and elastic fiber. So it is known as tunica media. Fine? So then an external layer that is known as tunica externa. So each of the artery and the vein has three layers. So what are the three layers? So you have an outer layer. So outer layer is made up of connective fibers and it is known as tunica externa. Right? And then you have the middle layer. So this is known as tunica media. So it has smooth muscles. Fine. And then you have the innermost layer which is known as tunica intima. So these are the three layers of your arteries and your veins. So this is present both in your arteries as well as in your veins. Fine. Okay. Right. So if you can look into the figure of vein and artery, so the arteries have a smaller lumen and they have a wider lumen. So veins have a wider lumen, so it is much wider, right? And this is much smaller, the lumen. So the diameter, so here for the diameter for the flow of blood is very less, right? Yes, Anthony, you're absolutely right. So this is double circulation and here is the difference between your arteries and veins. This is a very important tabular column. So please save it when you get my PPT. So artery carries blood from the heart to the organs. So that is why it carries only oxygenated blood. Okay, so vein carries blood from the organs to the heart. So that is why you have veins carrying deoxygenated blood. Okay, so all arteries carry pure blood except pulmonary artery because pulmonary artery carries your deoxygenated blood. So all veins carry impure blood, that is deoxygenated blood, except your pulmonary vein which carries your oxygenated blood. So the blood flows with high pressure and speed inside your arteries. So oxygenated blood has more pressure and speed. Okay, so blood flows with low pressure and speed. So that is why you have valves in your vein. Okay. So that is why you have valves, because when something moves very slowly, there's a tendency that it can come back, right? So even when you are on two minds of a particular decision, so you tend to go back, right? So you have a high pressure and speed in your artery and you have low pressure and speed in your veins. So thus you have valves in your vein. So V for vein, V for valves. Okay, remember this. So arteries are deeply situated, very deep within your vein, within your skin, and they are just on top. You can see the green color, that is greenish blue color. So they are your veins. Okay, so the lumen is constricted, meaning the lumen is very small, right? Here the lumen is pretty wide. So they are pinkish or bright in color. Here they are bluish in color. So arteries do not collapse when empty walls. So when there is no blood flowing through an artery, even then it does not collapse because the walls of an artery are much thicker. Okay, so the veins collapse when they are empty because veins are very thin. Alright, so that is the difference. You can talk about the middle layer. The tunica media layer is thicker in case of your arteries, and here it is thinner, so that is why it collapses, and that is why it does not collapse. So this is the contrasting difference between your arteries and your veins. Yes sir, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, fine. So now we come to the regulation of cardiac activity. So who regulates this cardiac activity? So your cardiac muscles are myogenic. So meaning they are auto-excitable. So I am not going to turn on a button so that your essay note conducts an impulse. No, it is auto-generatable. So it is myogenic. So it is under the control of autonomic nervous system. So your ANS is a part of your peripheral nervous system, right? So you have two types, autonomic nervous system. So yes, it is a part of your peripheral nervous system. So your autonomic nervous system has two parts. One is sympathetic and the other one is parasympathetic, right? Okay. So here you have, so autonomic nervous system is a part of your PNS. So this is your peripheral nervous system, right? So here you have two types. One is somatic and one is autonomic. So autonomic nervous system is divided into sympathetic nervous system and you have parasympathetic nervous system. So these two are always opposite in action, right? Okay, so neural signals through your sympathetic nerve. So when your sympathetic nerve is stimulated, okay, so it increases your heartbeat. It increases the strength of contraction and thus your cardiac output increases. So this is through your sympathetic nervous system. Pulmonary circulation from pulmonary vein. Okay, so we'll talk about that if I have not discussed. Okay, so this is it. So your sympathetic nervous system increases your heartbeat. So this does the opposite function. So this decreases your heartbeat, your ventricular contraction and thus the cardiac output. Alright, so it is controlled by your autonomic nervous system. Fine. So then we have disorders which we will discuss in the evening class because you have quite a few disorders. So you want me to explain this, the types of circulation? Yes, so we will talk about the types of circulation now. So do I have a blank slide? Okay, so we have three types of circulation. So one is your pulmonary circulation. The other one is systemic circulation. The other one is hepatic portal circulation. So these are the three types of circulation. So pulmonary circulation, so pulmonary means lungs. So the movement of blood from the heart to the lungs and then from the lungs to the heart. So this is my pulmonary circulation. So here I have my pulmonary artery and my pulmonary vein, right? So then what is systemic circulation? So the movement of blood from the heart to the body and from the body to the heart. So this is my systemic circulation. So here I have my vena cava and I have my aorta, right? So then hepatic circulation. So blood from the kidney, blood from the small intestine. It reaches the liver before it moves into the heart. Okay, since it is connected with the liver, it is known as your hepatic portal circulation, right? Is this clear? So here you have hepatic artery and here you have hepatic vein. So hepatic vein carries deoxygenated blood, hepatic artery carries oxygenated blood. So the blood vessel that carries blood to the liver is hepatic artery and when it moves out of the liver, it is your hepatic vein. So these are the three types of circulation. Is this clear? Yes. So in the evening, that is at 6 p.m, we are talking about the important questions from this chapter. So that time I will teach you the disorders, okay, because the disorders are pretty close by. So we need to pay attention to the disorders. So we will talk about the disorders in the evening lecture. So please join me at 6 p.m. Yes, I promise to come with an interesting session for all those who are doing your NEET in 2021. So if you cannot join your crash course, so we have to do something here also. Yes, I will plan up something, but please give me some time and also think about the crash course because this is worth it. So please once again give a thought about it. And if you genuinely like my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe. So looking forward to meet you at 6 p.m. So until then, stay tuned and take care. Bye-bye.